Hey Capricorn, welcome to Tourmaline Tarot. We're going to do your September 2022 reading. I have no idea where the time has gone, but we're already up on September. And this is a relationship and a general, so if it's yours, you'll know. If it's not yours, you'll also know. So just kind of take that into account, you know. So, this one I just start off with a relationship read, then we'll move into the tarot. And I wasn't going to argue with it because it's been pretty clear in what it's been saying, whatever comes out. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. All right, so at the center you have the clover. That's a nice way to kick it off, right? And reversals don't matter with these guys. They say what they say either way. So in the center you have the clover, and we read this like a scale. One side's one person, one side's the other person, so it's kind of like which one applies to you. This is the challenge, that's the outcome. So in the middle you have the clover. That's kind of like a short-term Wheel of Fortune card for me. It's kind of like, you know, things are kind of lining up, things are clicking. There is a little bit of like luck attached to it. Like you're potentially rolling the dice in this situation, just seeing where the chips fall. You know, there's like not a lot of pressure being put on stuff. If anything, it's probably that like portion of the show where it's that kind of like fun cat and mouse part where it's like, will they, won't they? I don't know. Because over here you have the ring with the book. And then over here you have the mice with the Cupid. Someone is probably, you know, that like tortured feeling where like you just want to say it, but like you also know you can't say it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Because Cupid is nice, but he still has arrows that are making this heart bleed, right? So it's not like all rainbows and ponies. So there is a little bit of like, but it's like almost that fun, like Jane Austen novel kind of like, oh, I just want to say I love them, or whatever it might be. But with the mice, it's like one mouse, not that bad. Bunch of mice, you know, call the exterminator. So there is that undercurrent of like, someone's really kind of hot and bothered about it. Because over here you have the ring with the book. I feel like on the other side, somebody's kind of, if anything, if, you know, a negative aspect of this, because I like to pull it all out, somebody could still kind of be in a commitment and they're just not saying it because the book is secrets. We'll clarify a little bit either way, but it's that, or somebody also wants this, but they're also not saying it. So it's like, yeah. So you're kind of just like bumping into each other, or you might be like, oh, wow, I didn't know you were going to be here. Like, you know, mutual friends, like, did so-and-so say anything? Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those kind of deals. Because down here, the challenge is the fox. Foxes, they know how to hunt. They're clever. They're smart. I don't really get this in the duplicitous sense because there is like, there's no like maliciousness up here. This is mostly like I said, it's that will they, won't they, like doing kind of like intelligence gathering, like asking questions and like, did they? I don't know. Like, so the challenge is clearly stating it, what's going on, because there's a lot of attraction. You know what I mean? It's also potentially, and we'll clarify this too, there might be, like, you know, when something ramps up so high that it just starts kind of getting petty. You know, and it's like, ew, I don't like you either. But, ew, but it's like joking, but things kind of go a smidge too far because there is so much tension behind it that it's just like, yeah. So watch out for that. Let's clarify this, baby. So over here with this ring in the book, what are we talking about? Or somebody wants to know what your status is. Or vice versa, you know what I mean? Yeah, someone's waiting for stuff to be recognized. Someone's watching to see, because the moon in this deck is about recognition and like kind of like a touch of fame, you know, a little 6 of Wandsy if you want to compare it to a tarot thing. So you have the medal, which is, you know, obviously like you win. And this person's like, should I give this? Should I not? But I feel like it is. Also, flip it, this could be the person getting the recognition, but they're also like, I don't know, like, I want to kind of buckle down on this, but at the same time, is it worth it? But they're appreciating the attention. Because with this mouse and this Cupid, there's a lot of husha. There's just kind of like a longing. Like, I don't think anyone's opening up on this side if this is you or the other person. Let's see, what is that about with the ship? Someone might need to cut out some good time Charlie ways, or they might have some habits that are not known about that need to kind of get dialed down. It's not like full-on devil energy or anything like that, or like tower or whatever, but this is the wine. That's kind of like the superficial, just kind of go into what feels good in the moment, like anything that can be kind of a distraction, kind of like a, side quest kind of vibe. And they need to kind of cut that out. So that could be a reason why someone isn't like gung-ho, because they're not perceived as seriously as they might be feeling about whoever this person is. So let's see. With the whip. Yeah, the key is kind of not defending what is wanted, because the bride is like Nine of Cups-y, kind of what is wanted in the 3D. So you have the bear. Protecting your interests, Also, I'm hearing sleep on it. Like, you don't want to rush into stuff either way. So the key is kind of like saying what you want, buckling down on what you want, getting out of this foxy, like pokey, did they ask about me energy. So with this, yeah, motivation. Let's light the fire. I think the fire's already been lit. You just need to get the marshmallows, you know what I mean? Yeah. So there is loyalty and friendship and everything there. Let me see just one more, because sometimes this is like a friends go into a relationship situation. There's a new beginning. So, I wouldn't be afraid of moving it to next level. I want to see one more on this fox thing. But I think there has to be a clarity that isn't there yet, because both sides are still kind of like not showing the full hand yet, Garden, yeah. Social situations, stuff coming out, emerging, garden. Like, here you go, laying it on the table. Like I said, you might, whoops, I didn't know you were going to be here. Like one of those situations. Don't get complacent with it, and don't get cocky. You or the other persons, I don't know what y'all up to. So, just watch for that. And like I said with that whip, you know how like you hit a point where it's either you do or you don't? You might be coming up on the, you'll just let it slide phase. So like, if you care about it, hop on it. But like I said, make sure your wants are clear. You're not just kind of going with the flow, going with that clover, going with the luck. Like, let's see what happens. But there is attraction there. I just don't think the words are all following it up at this point. So now we're going into the tarot. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is it. Oh yeah, it's it. Okay, guys. All right, so we're doing a 9er. And 5 of Swords is in the center. It's like, watch this. So, I'm trying not make the relationship stuff carry into this, because this is supposed to be more general and like motivational and blah, blah, blah. But sometimes it echoes each other. So with the 5 of Swords as the center, there is an element of like, I'm hearing that song, Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better. I know that's a super old song, but it's like this back and forth of like, hold my beer, like one of those kind of situations. But in the corners, you have Queen of Cups, 6 of Pentacles reversed, 6 of Wands reversed. Remember I mentioned the 6 of Wands. And then you have the 5 of Pentacles reversed. So, at the point that it is now, there is a lot to offer. But if the time and energy isn't going into it, and you're not recognizing with the 6 of Wands that you either are the bee's knees, or you're like, ew, I don't like you. You know what I mean? Like, remember how I said that petty back and forth thing? Like, ew, you're not my type. Whatever it may be. If you're not giving the recognition, but the 5 of Pentacles reversed, though, it's like you still want in, but you're not showing you want in, if that makes sense. Like, you're still kind of like, oh, I'm just going to be over here. Because when you have the Queen of Cups, Death, reversed and then the Six of Wands reversed, it's like no one's making the move. No one's making the effort to express certain things, to recognize certain things. You can have all the hopes in the world with the Star, but if you're still in this Five of Swords energy where it's this back and forth, but the Empress, literally you have the Star and the Empress flanking the Five of Swords. So it's like everything you want is there, but if you don't recognize it, don't give it the time and energy, it's not going to be able to start, and you're kind of being this limbo thing. Now, pointing out, you do have 2 5s, so there is, you're kind of at like a tipping point, deciding which way we're going to go, what are we going to do, because the Empress wants to start, but also not recognizing it, but also not giving up on it. But it's almost like this energy is being held in escrow. Like it's like, come on, Capricorn, get in there. Because I want to find out what this Five of Swords is about here. Give me something on the Five of Swords, please. King of Swords reversed. There aren't decisions definitely being made. No one's buckling down. What about this King of Swords? What decisions could be made? That's way too much, but it's Four of Wands. It was like, hello. Stability, build something, darn it. And you know what I'm hearing? It's like, I'm right here. I'm right here. All right, way too much is popping out, but it's basically stop being shady, drop it, and be willing to kind of contribute. I'm not saying anyone's overtly shady, but you need to walk away from any kind of like, it's not that you're not manifesting. The point is, the Magician reversed, there's that manipulative aspect. There's that, like I said, it's like, hold my beer. Like, watch this. You need to walk away from that. I think you need to kind of, you think you're putting your best foot forward in whatever situation this may be, but in some way, there's a holdback as well, where you're like, well, I'm not going to give it all. I'm not going to totally say what I think. I'm not going to totally go all in on this. And this could go in general, not just relationship, but just like work, whatever. I feel like with the Page of Wands reversed and then the Page of Pentacles upright, court cards can be rough, but I think this is the guy that, isn't really doing stuff. Also can be kind of like impish. You know what I mean? Like he's not really like committed to doing stuff. It's kind of a little fly by night. Like he's in, he's out, he's done. Opt for Page of Pentacles. Like, no, here's a pentacle. Like, we're not going to be hasty. We're not going to just speak off the top of our minds. We're going to try and be a little more Page of Pentacles-y, all right? Because with this Ace of Pentacles, how are we actually going to get this train moving? Whatever it may be. So, balance and patience. I love temperance, and I also hate temperance, because you're like, oh, patience and like keeping balance. Like, no kidding. That's not what I wanted to hear. So temperance, what about it? Oh, you need to take control and make decisions. I know that sounds really super trite too. And just like, I think temperance can kind of be like, oh, balance and blah, blah, blah. You're like, I get it. Thank you. Yeah, so there is a need to kind of take control. Remember how I said with that clover, there's kind of like, we'll just see what happens. You need to be a less, we'll see what happens, and a little more like, all right, we're laying some groundwork. Remember that Page of Pentacles. We're not just off the cuff. We're going to kind of make a little plan. Because people think Capricorns are like low-key Virgos, but I've seen the Capricorn like, YOLO, like, let's see what happens. So don't sleep on a Capricorn. I'm just saying. Because you're just like, what? Like, y'all might keep it under wraps, but when you throw down, you throw down. So, okay. That's my side note on that. So, Empress. What is that about? Ace of Cups reversed. There's just a lot of like, you'll give to a point. You'll put it out there to a point. But then you're like, whoop. Nope, can't show too much. Can't show too much of my hand here. Seven of Swords reversed. I think you shouldn't, I'd hate to say afraid, but you shouldn't really be concerned with showing your authenticity. Seven of Cups. I just think there's an element of like, I don't know how I'll be perceived. I don't know how this is going to be taken. Just pointing out that you have a lot of 7s, 5s, 6s. So you're kind of like smack in the middle of this. And it's almost like you have to kind of go through, you know, the 8, 9, 10. Let's drop some stuff. Let's edit. Let's see what we're doing. And cut out any kind of stuff that isn't really working for you before you can get to these aces. Before you can finally kick that off. So just give me one more on the Lovers. I know I'm getting greedy because I'm reading that more in the decision way. Also, if this is a relationship and you need to kind of like take control of the way this is going. Remember I said with the bear, you got to set your terms. Yeah, you need to stop stinking thinking. Say what you think. King of Pentacles reversed. 9 of Pentacles reversed. So there is an element of like not necessarily giving up parts of yourself, but there is a resistance that has to kind of come down. So let's see. You guys wanted to stay out, right? Yes, you did. But like you're out of a crumb bum loop. Like mentally, it's almost like you're kind of emerging in some kind of way. Now this is Lenormand, and straight up Lenormand. No oracle-y stuff, nothing. And we only do one at a time on these guys. So we have the man. All right, remember there's only a guy and a girl in this deck, so don't sweat it. And then we have the scythe. So we got to cut some stuff out. Then we have the mice. Anything that's bothering you or kind of like sitting in the back of your mind, it's time to ditch it. All right. If this person, you know, you're thinking about, I would kind of like figure out what is the sticking point. What is the thing that is like sticking in your craw about them, about the situation, and narrow that down. Because the mice, like if something doesn't feel right, it's like you know it and it's going to stay that way. So I would try and figure out like what is the between the lines part. You know what I mean? So my AC unit decided to be like, woo, we're just going to make as much noise as possible. So that's might be what you're hearing. So let's see here. We're going to close it out with the Spirit Animal Oracle. Give me one for Capricorn. All right, the Goose, Inner Knowing. You are a brave traveler. Your soul knows the way. Be confident you will achieve your destination. Loyal friends are always with you. Don't worry, you are blessed. Let yourself fly, okay? So remember I said there is an element of like a little hold back. Oh, now it's totally cool. Pick a lane, all right, AC? Yeah, so there is like, you're holding back in some respect, in some way. I'm not saying it's fear, but you're just like, I don't really want to give that part. I don't want to let somebody have access to that or, you know that I think this, you know what I mean? So just kind of, like I said, examine the sticking points. You know, is stuff deal breakers? Are you breaking deals like with yourself, you know, because that's always, you got to show up for yourself in this stuff. So Capricorn, that's what I have for you for September, and I'll talk to you later.